Okay, this is 100 Days of Keto Chow. Today is day 7. It's 1 week down, and I've only got 13.2 weeks left. I went to do the math on what percentage I was at, and so I took 7 divided by 100, and I was like, oh, that's 7%. Duh. Anyway, my daughter made a bunch of keto food last night in the Instant Pot, and it smelled really good. I didn't eat any of it, but I had chocolate Keto Chow that I mixed up in the, heated up in the microwave. I had somebody ask, is it difficult to make the hot chocolate out of Keto Chow? And it's like, no, the hardest part is getting the temperature right in the microwave. It's literally, you pour it into a mug and set it for however long you want, and then stir it and see if it's the right temperature. That's really it. Somebody asked if that destroys any of the nutrients. So I do know that if you heat up Keto Chow to pasteurization temperatures, which is around 280 degrees Fahrenheit, I'm not sure what that is, it's probably like 120 Celsius, that will destroy the vitamin C, the vitamin A, the vitamin D, the B5, and the B6. As far as I can tell, it leaves everything else alone. If you're just heating up Keto Chow in a microwave to like 110 or 120 degrees Fahrenheit, which would be like what? I don't know, like 50 degrees Celsius, I'm not sure. You likely will not destroy any of the nutrients, and you'll be just fine. But again, I don't know for sure. But you have to get it really hot to destroy the vitamins, like cooking temperature hot. Anyway, let's see. What was I going to talk about? I got my notes here. Oh, yes. I am actually going to try to get a new test batch of the savory flavors, the beef flavors I'm working on. Because I want to get that going so that they'll be ready by the time I get to about day 80, so I can use those as part of the science phase. Speaking of production and packaging, we did talk to the people who are doing the sample packaging for us yesterday. It's not looking like they're going to be able to run our stuff until probably late January or early February. So the samples that we have right now that are available, those will continue to dwindle until we got 5 of them done before. So what happened is the place who was doing the mixing for us was supposed to get the stuff up to them for the packaging, and they were like a day late. So the window to get them done closed. They got 5 of them done, the 5 that they had, and didn't get the rest of them done because they didn't have them. And so as we get closer to end of January, beginning of February, we will just have 5 of the samples. It'll be root beer, natural strawberry, mocha, the raspberry cheesecake, and snickerdoodle are the 5 that we have a lot of those. But we have very few of the other ones left. So anyway, when they finally do get our stuff done, we're going to have them run a whole bunch of all of the different flavors. So yeah, that'll take care of that eventually. Miriam was on the call, which was nice. She got a little frustrated. She's like, we're dying here. I was like, thanks. So they understand, and they're going to try and get us worked in as soon as they can, but they're just, they do have a second machine coming, so should take care of that. We are going to be doing our weekly Facebook Live tonight. I'm not sure if we're going to be starting on time. We're supposed to be starting at 7:30 Mountain Time, 7:30 p.m. But we have some concerts and such that we are going to be going to tonight, so it might be a little later than normal. We'll have to see. Anyway, I can report that what I'm eating right now, which is 3 meals of Keto Chow a day, is definitively conducive to a ketogenic diet. and that's because I've been measuring my ketones every day. This morning I tested my ketones and I was at 2.4 millimolars per deciliter of blood ketones, and with breath acetone using a level ketone measuring device, I'm at 14.2 parts per million. If you're over, the display on the front of the level stops at 6. So anything over that is considered deep ketosis by them. And on the blood meter, 2.4. Now, I had somebody asking, what do those numbers mean? Do you need higher numbers? So I explained to them, and I'll explain to you. When you're doing a ketogenic diet, you want more than anything over about 0.3, really anything over 0.1, you are burning ketones. You are in ketosis, which is the burning of ketones. Not to be confused with the production of ketones. That's ketogenesis. So if you have any ketones in your blood, you're going to be burning ketones, which is why exogenous ketone manufacturers will say, drink this stuff and it'll put you into ketosis immediately. It will. You will burn ketones. You might also be burning glucose at the same time, but you will be burning ketones. So having anything over about a 0.3, you're generating ketones, you're burning ketones. I think it was Finney and Volek back in the day were recommending somewhere between, I'm trying to remember now, I think it's 0.8 and 1.5 as an optimal range. They were talking about cyclists and where they were seeing the most benefit. For people who are just trying to lose weight or functionally cure their diabetes, if you're above about 0.3 or 0.5, you're doing really well. There are some people who they never see levels above about 0.5 unless they fast for an extended period of time. Now that could mean several things. It could mean that their liver just doesn't like producing as much ketones. It could also mean that they are very adapted to burning fat directly, and so they don't need as many ketones in their system, because as you do a ketogenic diet, a low carb, high fat diet for a longer amount of time, your cells upregulate the fat receptors and downregulate the glucose receptors. So you will end up burning quite a bit of fat. The majority of your metabolism will be taking triglycerides, burning them directly, and you don't even need that many ketones because you just don't. Ketones are usually, in this case, reserved for the brain and other tissues that really benefit from it, but your muscles and everything else, they'll just burn fat. So not having high levels of ketone, it's not really that big of a deal. Where you would want to see high levels of ketones is if you had a neurological condition that benefits from higher levels of ketones. That could be Alzheimer's, it could be autism, it could be depression, things like that. Places where you need a boost in your neurological activity, that's where a higher level of ketones is beneficial. And those are the type of people who actually can see a benefit from using exogenous ketones. If you have someone with dementia and you're putting them on a ketogenic diet to try and treat that, supplementing it with exogenous ketones probably isn't a bad idea. I don't know if I would do it for a 20 or 30-year-old who can achieve the same results by diet, but that's because we don't know the long-term effects of exogenous ketones. But anyway, Richard Morris just explains that whole concept very well. There's a whole thing about the handedness, the isomers, the left-handed versus the right-handed, and things like that. I won't get into it. Anyway, so for those that don't have a neurological condition like me, I don't, although my kids might say otherwise, that means that if you have higher ketones, it's academically interesting. You can look at those numbers and go, whatever you're eating is okay for a ketogenic diet. If I had 1.5 or 1.0 or 0.8 millimolars per deciliter, again, I'd be able to look at it and go, okay, the stuff that I'm eating puts me into a ketogenic state to where I can burn the ketones, and that's great. I probably don't need to make many changes. I don't need to lower my carb intake. I could actually probably raise my carb intake if I really wanted to, just because the numbers are so high as they are. But in the past, I've even had higher numbers. A year and several months ago, I was stuck in San Francisco. I was doing just Keto Chow with just avocado oil and a little bit of MCT. My ketone numbers were up to 5.8, which is really, really high. It's the sort of thing you usually don't see unless you're supplementing with exogenous ketones. Did that make me lose weight any faster? I don't think so. It was interesting in that I was at a tech conference and I was in a bunch of classes and I was studying, and my brain was on overdrive. Whoa, it was really, I was hyper focused. So in that case, and that's a neurological thing again. Having the higher ketones, in that case, is beneficial if that's what you're going for. If you're going for weight loss, you're going for you're helping your blood sugar, functionally curing diabetes, things like that, you probably don't need that high of ketones. So, and that's why a lot of us will say, don't chase ketones, chase results. Look for the results that you're interested in and go for that. But you don't need to be testing your blood probably every day and going for a really high number and just stressing over it, because the high number really isn't that important unless you have a particular reason that it needs to be high. So, anyway.
Also, the stress is not going to help you succeed.
The stress will raise your
make
cortisol.
It worse.
Yeah, it raises your cortisol, which raises your blood sugar. So, yeah, don't stress about it, really. And like I said, for me, it's academically interesting to see my blood ketones that high, just because it assures me that when I tell people that they can use Keto Chow for a ketogenic diet and it will work for them, I can see that working in myself, and I am assured that, okay, I'm not giving people bad advice. So there you go. That's why I'm testing my blood ketones during this particular experiment or challenge or whatever. Anyway, so that's all I got for today. Once again, we'll see you tonight for a Facebook Live, or you can catch the recording later. So, catch you later.